Lego Group grew 25% in 2012, which is a phenomenal result, and then 40% on the operating margin. So it was a very successful year for the Lego Group thanks to the launch of Lego Friends. The growth rates vary quite a bit around the world. In Asia, we saw a growth of 50% or more. This is also still less than 10% of our business, so it's a smaller part of our business, but very strong growth. In our main market in Europe, we saw a growth around 10%, with some notable positive exceptions like the UK and southern parts of Europe actually growing more than 20%, and Russia by a full 40%. And then finally, the Americas, where the US is our single largest market in the world, actually grew in excess of 20%. Lego is in the construction or building set category of the toy market, and that category has now been growing for more than 8 years, thanks to the growth of Lego, because Lego in some ways defined the category. So if we look at sort of an analytical view of how much can the Lego Group grow, then we should have reached a saturation point a long time ago. So we're trying to constantly develop a healthy core business, but also expand the reach of our core business. And so we can't really look at the analytics to find the saturation point. We need to look at the consumer feedback and see whether consumers remain excited and find the Lego brand irresistible. So the top line result was a 25% growth, and there are 3 components in that. One was we do see a major positive impact of currency, that should be mentioned first off. But the other 2 major business drivers are the very successful launch of Lego Friends, which contributes very strongly to our growth simply because it's an incremental market for Lego. We are selling to the girls of the world. Of course, we also did that before, but we now have a much more relevant offering to girls, which has proven very successful. And then our Lego Ninjago series continued its very strong growth in 2012, and that also drove the top line. I think when times are very difficult, people seek quality and high value content, and Lego is a durable kind of product, something that has an enormous amount of play hours. It's not just a instant gratification and then the kids forget about it. So I think as spending is squeezed, I think Lego stays relevant. And then of course, I think it's very important also to say Lego is a premium brand, and I think we do see even in times of economic crisis that the consumer that's out there for premium brands generally is a fairly resilient type of consumer. The major thrust of growth for Lego in 2013 is going to be the launch of Lego Chima, the continued success of Ninjago and Lego Friends, and we'll also see in the preschool area with Duplo that we continue to be a growth leader in the entire preschool segment. Well, I think it's very different from running so many other companies, and one of the reasons is also that we have a few owners. It's a family, close-knit group of just 4 people, and so when people talk about shareholder value, I always say, well, it depends what the shareholder values, and in my case, the shareholder values a whole lot more than just cash flow and dividends. So I have just come off spending a weekend with our shareholder, looking at children playing and see how they interact with our products, and worry a great deal about whether we have the right colors on the bricks, whether it's the right expression, whether we do a good enough job of explaining our product, and what is the pricing and offering to the kids, because will that really allow the most number of children to play with our product. So it's a very, very different thing. It's like how you think about your own children. You think about the company in a very long-term perspective, and you really have a lot of pride. You hope your child will do well when it comes out in the world. Lego is in an exceptionally good state, I think. We live in a fairly extraordinary time in the world economy, I believe, because many of the major established markets are finding themselves in a crisis, and also the toy market is definitely in a growth and innovation crisis. And Lego has been going through that with what I would really think honestly are some really extraordinary results. And we feel very lucky and privileged to be in that position, and also humbled because I think it would be very difficult just to continue at that level of growth rates. But I'm confident that we build a good platform for the future, and I think our efforts, especially in 3 areas, to be the leading brand also in the Asian emerging markets is succeeding, but there's a long way to go. We are very strong in the digital space. We need to continue to be that, and then we need to continue to build our sustainability efforts, because I do think that is part of who we are, and we have a lot of work ahead of us in that space as well. So with those 3 major thrusts of developing the company, I think the company is in a very healthy state.